give them the signs and teach them the book and the wisdom. And Allah also said they are making men, meaning they are making you feel guilty because they gave you something. To give him more is very good. The one that is considered one of the big sins and that void the charity is if you are given and you are shown that you are better than the person given. The worst people is the person that who takes the bounties from people and don't appreciate what he was given. It was narrated, as you know, that the woman or a lot of women that they deny their life. The Prophet said that if a woman were given everything all her life and you stop something, she forget all the bounties you gave her, all the things, and she said, you didn't do nothing. She said, I haven't seen anything good at all. In that area only, the word in man in Quran is a different meaning. One of its meaning is you let go of the prisoner with no compensation. And the Shaykh reciting from the Quran about to free the prisoner with nothing in return. Allah also said, oh, do not void your charity with men and harm. And the man here is that arrogance that people have whenever they're given. Like he is spending his money and showing off in front of people and do not believe in Allah and the hereafter. So these two examples the same. You know, the showing off will not, it will void any work or deed you've done. At the Day of Judgment, he will be told that you have done this so you could be, so you could have people's satisfaction and acceptance. And from the first people that the hellfire will be taken is a knowledgeable person who learned the knowledge, so he will be called a knowledgeable person. And the abid is one who worships Allah Azza wa Jal, so people call him a worshipper. And the one who gives charity, and he did it, so people will say that he is a very generous person. And it was said. And then he will be thrown in the hellfire. All three kinds will go to hellfire. It's not only showing off, it will take off it will void the charity. It also makes it a sin because you have done it in showing off. You took it for someone else beside Allah. So instead of finding it in your good, in your scale of good deeds, it will find it in the wrong part as instead of a good deed as a sin. So purify yourself in your actions. All your actions going to be explained two things: why and how. Why did you do this action? Did you do it so you could make your Lord happy, or from your desires? Did you do it according to the Quran and Sunnah, or is it full of, or was it full of doubtful things? You cannot leave So there is no way except to have purification toward Allah, to full intention of seeking Allah only, and the other one is according to the way that Allah accepts. I gave two examples. Allah said, if you have a rock that is very smooth, it has some dust. When you look at it, you say, MashaAllah, this is very good place to plant. Then the rain will comes in. That's heavy rain, and that rain took all the dust from the rock, and it shows that this is a rock. So you knew that it's not going to plant anything. So just like you cannot plant anything on that rock after what was on top of it is gone, those who are showing off and those who have men who are arrogant in their giving, they will not get nothing. They cannot plant anything. They cannot gain a seed. They cannot gain any good deed at the day of judgment. You will find people who they thought that, and they're claiming that they're doing it in the sake of Allah. They found it in their page of bad deeds, and where they turn to sins instead of good deed. Allah gave the example of that rock that we mentioned. To be arrogant in the given, it is from the big sins, the major sins that throw their people in the hellfire unless the mercy of Allah is there. When we say that there is three types of people that Allah will not look at them, they will not purify them, He will not help them, and they are among the people who's going to be exposed to the torment and punishment of Allah. All of this goes back to the wish of Allah, to the will of Allah. If He will forgive them, or He will punish them. Because Allah said that He forgive whomever He wish and punish whomever He wish. It's not wrong to work. The shame is to put your hand asking people money. So don't make the person be exposed to two humiliations. The first one, that he extended his hand, and the other one, that you talk to him as if you are telling him that, oh, you're doing him a favor out of arrogance for you. These type of people, Allah will not accept from them, and it is a great one of the major sins. And the minna, that men, it destroy the action. So the man, if it is by action, it's good to do good to your neighbors, which means you do generously. This is good to be done to your relatives, to your neighbors, to the needy, the poor, but to do it with your tongue, it is where Allah Azza wa Jal hates. There is a hadith where three types that Allah loves and three types that Allah hates. The three that Allah loves, the man finds the enemy and he will put himself exposed until he puts his life to protect, and he will never turn his back against the enemy, and either Allah will give him the victory or be a martyr. And then he said, the second one, and the travelers, and they travel at night is long. They wish they could touch the place so you could sit down. So one of them stopped to pray so he could wake them while they're asleep. People used to love to walk during the night, especially the end of the night. And Allah loved the person who told them to relax, and I will stay up praying until it's time to leave, and then he will wake them up so they could move again. And the third one, that his neighbor harm him, and he's patient on his harm until Allah split between them, either with an order from him or by death. How about the three types that Allah hates? The one who sells by swearing by Allah. Those who give their product by swearing wrongfully and falsely, Allah will not talk to them and He will not purify them, and they have great torment. The person who exposes things with his and also the one who swear by Allah. And too many swearing will lead you to the false swearing by Allah. And also the third type that Allah we hate is a person who is rich or have enough, and he pretend to be the poor who is arrogant. He is poor, he is needy, but he is arrogant. And the other hadith, a king that is lying, and an old man who is arrogant, an older man who is committing adultery, or a king who is lying. The king who is in half the kingdom, why would he lie? And the poor who is arrogant, and an old man who is committing adultery. He's too old and he's that far away from the death, and he is committing a major sin. And the stingy who make arrogant remarks to people. That's why they say from the woman, there's a hadith not to marry a manna, the one who make man who is married because of her money, and she is rich, and she start showing on, or she have arrogant over her husband because she's spending her money on him. That woman who is rich and make her husband feel guilty because she is spending her money on him. And this in Arabic saying, not to worry a woman who is always complaining, or the one who is showing off with her money on her husband. From the signs that are exposed about al-man, Allah said, those who spend their money in the sake of Allah and do not follow it by man or harm. And also Allah said, do not avoid your charity with man and other with harm. And Musa also, when he said to Pharaoh, and this is a bounty that you raised me in your house, and you already enslaved the sons of Israel. And Allah said to the Araf, those who are weak in their faith, Allah says, the Bedouins, they said they believed. Allah replied, don't say that you have faith, just say Aslamna. as if they are making men on the Prophet ﷺ that they embrace Islam. Like we done you a favor that we have embraced Islam. Allah saying they are trying to make you feel worse because they have embraced Islam. It is indeed Allah Azza wa Jal who is having that man on you, that He made you guided to Islam. Also Allah said to the Prophet ﷺ, do not make men testosterone, meaning do not give your giving so you'll be given more than it was you given. This in the chapter that you give somebody something that you are expecting more than what you give. And also don't make your man on your Lord that, oh, I made charity, I gave zakah, I prayed today, I made and also Allah said, do not make men with the Quran, meaning you are trying to take some replacement in this life. And the origins and those who are those who give the message of Allah, they are seeking only the reward from Allah. Say, don't ask for a reward from you except to be goodness to relatives. May Allah guide us to the right path. From also it means that the person is heavy with the bounty. The saying of Yusuf alayhi salam, with Allah said that I am Yusuf and this is my brother. Allah has put his bounty on us. Those who fear Allah and they are patient, Allah do not avoid the reward of the good people. Allah said, we are nothing but humans like you. Allah give his man on whomever he wish. Allah the Almighty give his minna on his Prophet ﷺ. He said, we have given you the bounty. Another time when we inspire to your mother what is inspired, like throw him in the coven, put him in the sea, and the sea will take him to the coast close to Fir'aun, where he will pick him up. And also the righteous people in Surah Qarun, when Allah destroyed of Qarun, and those who wish they were in his place, they said, oh, Allah give the sustenance with he wish, and it was not for the bounty of Allah, we would have been among those that are destroyed like Qarun. And Allah said, we have given man on Musa and Harun, and we saved him and their people from the great torment. And the reason why it was says that some Bedouins came to the Prophet ﷺ, they said, we have embraced Islam, we did not fight you like others, like be careful. So Allah said, they are making you feel bad that they did embrace Islam. It is Allah that is giving the bounty, that He have showed them the faith if you are truthful. In the hadith of Ibn Umar, 3 categories Allah will not look at them at the day of judgment: the one who disobeys his parents, the woman who looks like woman, and the youth is the one who spread the wrongdoing to his wife, or he accused her of wrongdoing, of adultery, and the mannan from what he has given. Ameen. Those who spend their money showing off in front of people in the sake of Allah and do not follow it, Allah Azza wa Jal compliment them In return, he said, those who spend in the sake of Allah and do not follow what they have done of men on those that they have given, because they're not making that man owns anyone. And he's saying, meaning they will not do wrong to the people who did them right or did the goodness for them. And Allah promised that He will give the great reward, and there's no fear of them and the day of judgment. And when He stressed on that meaning, because it is from the sad things that we see nowadays that is going through our souls without paying attention. So be careful that if you done anybody a favor, don't remind them of what you did, so they could harm them with remind them of the bounty that you have done on them, or to mock him with it, or something where you look arrogant on the way that you've done it. And as we stress, the man of giving, it is forbidden. It is one of the great sins. It takes the gratefulness of Allah. It's have the worst of character. Al-Qurtubi is saying that the scholars, they said that the charity, but Allah knows from its honor that He is harming people or making men will not be accepted. And Allah put on the angel an order that He will not write it down. And some of the scholars, they're saying, whomever done man on goodness, his gratefulness is gone, and whomever is happy with his reward, he is lost his deed. And we have mentioned to you yesterday that one of the people of the Salaf, he used to advise his son, if it is allowed for you to do any goodness for of you, and you thought that if you would say, if you give somebody something, and you thought if you tell him Salaam Alaikum, that is going to remind them of the bounty you did, then don't do it. Don't ask them, don't greet them. No Mannan will enter the paradise to make people bad about what you are given. You could avoid what you're given, is not to follow it with man or harm to the people. To make man, it's one of the reasons of hatred. And be patient. Patient is protection. The patient of people on the heart, it is better than the teeth tearing the flesh. And he was also quoted saying, to hold rocks on top of the mountain and come back in it is better than to have the minna from any of the men. And after that he says, don't be angry because you've heard something bad from someone who is asking. To stay dignified, it is great. ask Allah to accept. Inshallah, we'll continue tomorrow.